What's going on, everybody? Welcome to Katie Speaks Podcast. I am your host, Keontre Daniels, and I want to welcome you back to yet another episode. Yes, another episode, a great week to just come back and, be inspired, be educated, be motivated, all of those things, right? But we are a community that likes to improve our life. We are a community that likes to sharpen each other. We like to make ourselves better, and we like to grow, okay? We like to grow. So let's get into today's episode. Today we're going to talk about, I don't want to say what we're going to talk about because usually I don't end up talking about that. So something that was on my mind that I wanted to share with you is your friends. Your friends are everything, right? Your friends are everything. Your friends determine the outcome of your life, right? And I know you believe that you get to make choices, you get to make decisions, which you do, but a heavy influence in your choices and your decisions, right? A heavy influence that has a huge impact on your choices and your decisions are your friends, your family, your relatives, the people you decide to choose to be around. And I use the word choose because it's all a choice. It's all a decision that we all have to make each and every day, the conversation that we get to have, the language that we use. It's all determined, or it's predetermined by our relationships, by our friends. Now, I want to go a little bit deeper. In the Bible, it talks about, two can't walk together unless they agree. And one translation says that how can two walk together unless they agree on the same direction? Unless they agree on the same direction. Okay? Now here, what I want to highlight is the direction that you head in your life, the choices and decisions that you make each and every day is the direction. Now, an agreement doesn't always have to be verbal. It doesn't have to be verbalized. It doesn't have to be communicated always, right? Sometimes you can just go with the flow. And I want to focus on those individuals today for this moment. You just go with the flow. You don't necessarily agree. You don't necessarily disagree. You're kind of neutral, but you want to stay mutual. You don't want to be biased. You don't want to cause any conflict or frustration, agitation, any strain on the relationship. You don't want to cause that, right? And I understand because you like these people. You like your friends. You love them. You care about them. Y'all been through some hard things. You've been through some maybe traumatic experiences. You've grieved. You've cried. You've laughed. You celebrated, right? You've done so many different things, but it comes down to this. We are the average of the 5 people that we hang around. We are the total. We are the byproduct of who we hang around, who we're talking to, who we communicate with. We're the byproduct. So when we begin to understand that, look at who's around you. Look at the level of conversation that you're having. Look at, one of the first things I like to jump to is your bank account. For people of growth, right? This is not just, this is not a conversation for everybody. Some people are comfortable with where they are. And if you're comfortable with your friends, but you're not comfortable with where you are in your life, I want you to really evaluate your friends. That's who this conversation is for. That's what this topic is about. It's about the people who are not yet satisfied. You're not, or maybe you're not even content. You're not even content with the life that you're living right now. You're not content with your job. You're not content with your marriage. You're not content with maybe your friends that you have around. You feel like you can't address them, or you're not talking about real issues. You're not really talking about anything that matters. If that's you, I want to encourage you to make a change. I want to encourage you to make a difference and step out. Step out on faith and say, you know what? I'm going to talk to somebody else. I'm going to start talking to other groups of people who might be able to understand or relate. You might feel like you've been caged up. You might feel like you're the smartest person in your friend group. You might feel like, hey, I'm the one that's always coming up with ideas. I'm the one that's presenting new information, new experiences. Uh, if that's you, you're you're not in a circle, you're in a cage. And your circle of friends have caged you to believe that, you know, this is not required. And by this, I mean the dream, the vision, the goal, the purpose. They might be comfortable where they are, but I'm letting you know today that you have to walk away from them. Why? Because two cannot walk together unless they agree on the same direction. The same direction might look like a certain career. The same direction might look like a state in your marriage, right? You're happy, you're loving, you're communicating, but you know that there is more for your marriage. And your current married friends might think that it's okay. Your current single friends, if you have single friends and you're married, right? They might not understand what it's like to communicate and share love in the household and have an understanding and have a plan, have an agenda. They might not understand that because they're single. And for single people, you might not understand what it's like to be married. But the whole purpose of what I'm saying to you is if you're single and you hang around married people, you will desire to be married. If you're single hanging around other single people, you're most likely not going to end up being married. Why? Because you don't know what it takes. You don't have any idea what the formula is to get the desired outcome. We don't know. We just don't know what we don't know. And that's what I'm really pushing down to you today is you can't walk together. You can't live together. You can't strive together. You can't go in the same direction unless you agree. So if I was a single person, which I'm not, if I was a single person and I desired to be married, I would get around not only just married people or people who are in relationships, I would get around people who are happily married, right? Because that's the goal. Nobody wants to just be married and say, oh yeah, we're married and you're just together, right? You want to be happily married. You want love to be abundant. You want understanding to be abundant. You want communication to be abundant. The fruitfulness of marriage. You want all of those things, right? So that's what it comes down to. Our friends, they determine our future. You show me your friends, and I can show you your future. And for many of us, if we're not able to see our future, our vision is not clear. You have to have a vision for your life. You have to have some type of plan, some type of agenda. And that doesn't mean everything will always go to plan, but that's what keeps you, that is your true north. That is what allows you to stay focused, allows you to keep making the choices and decisions that you need to make that's going to draw you closer to your goal. And if you don't have that, then you can be around any group of friends that you want. You could be around any and everybody. And one of the things I had to learn, right, was that everybody is not for me. Everybody is not for you. It just totally depends on what type of plan, what type of vision you have for your life. What is the desired outcome? Y'all have heard me say this on every episode now. This is for people who want more. If you want more, right? If you want more, it comes down to this. You have to get around other people who want more. They might not want the same thing as you, but they just want more out of life. You need that type of mentality. You need that type of environment for people who are always striving to do better in the spirit of excellence, in the spirit of, hey, let's do this right, having integrity. Those are the high quality people that you want to be around. And once you pick up those characteristics, you pick up those traits, your life, the outcome, the gratitude that you had, the perspective that you had, it begins to change. Now, people who are okay with their current status, their current situation, their income, their relationships, their friends, their family, those people that are okay with it, it's nothing wrong with that, right? Nothing wrong with that. But for those of you who want more, you're not going to fit. They won't understand. They're just going to be okay. It's really a level of complacency, right? But we're not here to judge or look at anyone else and say, oh, well, they're not doing what I'm doing, so they're terrible people. No. there's an understanding that, hey, we don't have the same goal in mind. We don't have the same end outcome. We don't have it. So let's begin with the end in mind, okay? Let's begin with the end of the vision, the full picture. Let's begin with that in mind. And now we can reverse engineer and say, you know what? I don't see someone who eats Cheetos all day. If you like Cheetos, my bad. But if you like Cheetos and you eat Cheetos all day, every day, you eating junk food all day, every day, and I am a person who wants to have a six-pack, I don't think we need to hang around at all. We don't need to talk about diet. We don't need to talk about exercise, because every time I bring it up, you're going to discourage me. Every time I bring it up, you're going to be the one who says, hey, man, there's no need for that. When I fall short and I have a cheat day, and it was a cheat day, and the cheat day turned into a cheat week, a cheat month, you're not going to hold me accountable. And that's the thing when it comes down to friends, you know, when we have the same goal, when we walk in the same direction according to agreement, right? When we walk into that same direction according to agreement, we can now understand, you know what? When I mess up, I'm going to be held accountable. Most people don't like to be held accountable. But if you really want what you say you want, you wouldn't mind the constructive criticism. We don't mind when somebody tells us, hey, you weren't supposed to eat junk food this week, and you did. That's why you didn't meet your weight. That's why you didn't meet the body fat percentage. Whatever your goal is, if it's sales, if it's business, if it's ministry, whatever you're doing in this life, there's so much that can be taken out of, you know, your friendships and your relationships. Another thing that, you know, is often said is your network is your net worth. I'm proud of myself. I just need to say that because I'm country, and those two words sound the same when I say them. So your network is your net worth. Your net worth. Your value is dependent upon the people that you surround yourself with. That's what that phrase means. Your network is dependent upon your network. Your network, the people that you know, the relationships that you have, and you can love these people. There's nothing wrong with that. You can care for these people. There's nothing wrong with that. But when you start talking about advancing to another level, right? I'm talking to people who want more. You must understand this. It is necessary. Otherwise, we will never achieve. We will never attain what it is we say we want. We will never do it. And even spiritually, right? If people are complacent, they are mediocre with where they are in their faith, and they're okay, and you want more, you want to know the deeper things of God, you want to know the secrets and the mysteries, guess what? You have to separate yourself from these people who feel like they're okay, they're at a great place. You have to separate yourself. So there's no limit, there's no area, there's no industry, there's no ministry that is exempt from what I'm telling you. It applies everywhere. And I think it's very interesting because even in nature, you have to adapt. You have to evolve. You have to grow. Anything that stays the same in nature, that doesn't adjust to the climate, that does not adjust to the different advances in technology and we as people causing pollution and just different things. If the trees don't adapt, if they don't grow, if they don't put out the right amount of oxygen or carbon dioxide, or they put out oxygen, they take in carbon dioxide. But if they're not doing their job and they're not evolving, they die. When we stop growing, we die. And die not necessarily physically, but there's no advancement. There's no growth. There's no planting. There's no sowing. There's no harvest, right? And as long as we're growing, as long as we're developing, there will be a harvest. What does the harvest look like? A harvest looks like you losing the weight. A harvest looks like you gaining the muscle. The harvest looks like, you know, you might be like me and you trying to clear your skin up. You've been working on your skin. You've been going to the dermatologist. You might want better teeth, a whiter smile. It's all kind of stuff out here, right? It doesn't have to be money. It doesn't have to be your career. But when you say that you want something, it requires us to get into a community, and that community brings unity. Unity not only in the people, but unity within the goal, right? If you want to fix your credit, if you want to, make more money, you want to be a better salesman, you want to be a better person, you got to get around a group of people that are high quality people. We must. We must. There is no other way. So, hey, I just wanted to come on and share that with you guys because it comes down to this. Your network is your net worth. The value of the people that you surround yourself with, that's how much you'll be worth at the end of the day. Right? And I like to surround myself with $1 million people. It doesn't mean that they have $1 million in the bank, but their price is so high. It costs me so much to have them around. Like the price, you can't put a number on it. Because, and what do I mean by that? Okay, because I use numbers for people. But the people that I like to surround myself with, I cannot return to them in a dollar amount, right? I cannot give them a dollar amount for what it's worth them being in my life, them being a part of my life. When I go through hard times, when I'm having good times, when I need encouragement, when I need to be comforted, when I'm grieving, all of these different things, right? The people that I have in my life that I allow myself to talk to, that I allow them to contact me on a weekly, daily basis, whenever we need to talk and we need to have a conversation, the door is open. There's an open door policy. And I can never repay them for the value that they bring. They can tell me how to achieve my goals. They can instruct me and give me advice. And I'm not just talking about any advice, but they've already experienced, they've already gone to and come back from. They got a t-shirt and they can tell me all the different nooks and crannies of that journey. Those are the people that I want in my life for everything that I'm trying to do. I don't care if it's my marriage. I don't care if it's my health. I don't care, whatever it is, whatever I need to get done. If they just want to help me be a better man, right? Or I just want to be a better man. I see a high quality man who's doing the things that I want to do. And I say, wow, I need some help in those areas. I'm not able to be as patient as he is. That situation would have really made me mad. So I need to ask him some questions. I need to get closer to him in proximity so I can see how he operates. Like, what causes you to be so patient as a man? That's what I'm talking about. And don't limit it to just character. Don't limit it to just the quality of people. It has no limitation. This is a principle of life. It's a principle of life. If you operate on it, right? If you get around homeless people, you'll end up being homeless. If you get around people who just spend money, you'll want to spend money. If you get around people who are overweight and they eat all the time, then that's what you're going to want to do. If you get around successful people who make a lot of money, by default, you're going to make a lot of money. And what people can't seem to understand is they look at what they want and they're disappointed when they can't achieve it. They're disappointed when they can't attain it. They're disappointed. And I'm telling you, don't be disappointed. I'm telling you to just go back and evaluate the conversations that you have. Evaluate the people who have access to you. And if you don't have a lot of friends, guess what? Any person that desires friends must show themselves friendly. If you desire a friend, if you desire a relationship that is going to be there for you through the good, the bad, the ugly, the times of celebration, you got a promotion, you want somebody to go and you can go out to eat or whatever it is you need to do, right? You want to celebrate that you lost the weight. You want to celebrate that you gained the weight. Whatever your goal is, a friend can be there for you. But if you don't have friends, now we have to look introspectively. We have to look within ourselves and say, you know what? I'm not that friendly. I'm not that approachable. I have to change the way I conduct myself, the way I carry myself. My demeanor needs to change. If people don't want to be around you because of your attitude, because of the way you are, Yeah, you could just say this is the way I am. However, you still have a desire. You still have a goal. You still have an end outcome that you would like. So now what do? We get around friendly people. People that are so friendly, they don't mind you necessarily being mean, you being a party pooper, you being just all this different stuff, why people don't want to be around you. And you watch, you learn, and you get in that environment, and eventually it will rub off on you. Have you ever heard the term guilty by association or the phrase? Have you ever heard that, guilty by association? If you go to a bank robbery and you have on a mask, not pandemic mask, but you have on a mask, you have a gun, you're suited, you're booted, and you look just like the people that just went into a bank to go and rob it, and you're standing right outside. Now, you're not with these people who are robbing the bank, but you have a gun, you have a mask, you're covered up, you're suited, and you're booted. I don't care what you say out of your mouth. The way you dress, your demeanor, your approach, society will say that you were there robbing the bank. I don't care. There's no argument. There's no discussion. So therefore, you are guilty by association. You are associated by your looks, by your perception, how people can perceive you to be. Now, why were you standing outside of a bank with a gun and a mask? I don't know. But I'm telling you, we are guilty by association. Now, if there's anything I want to be guilty of, I want to be associated with love. I want to be associated with peace, somebody who can be a peacemaker. When I show up on the scene, in the room, I'm going to an environment, I'm going to an engagement, I'm going to hang out with people. I want them to know that when I show up, there's going to be peace, there's going to be order, there's going to be understanding, there's going to be communication. When I show up, I don't want to be associated with gossip. Come on now. When I show up, I don't want to be associated with laziness. I don't want to be associated with all the different things that people look at and say, man, I really don't like that. I don't want to be associated with being late. I don't want to be associated with causing arguments and causing confusion and chaos. And every time he comes around, it's just, people have to go and relax or go and, unwind after you leave their presence. I want people to always welcome me when I come around. Now, I understand, but remember what I said at the beginning. I understand that everybody is not for me. It's some people that, you might be the individual where no matter what you do, you can't make these people happy. It's nothing you can do to please them. That's the very first indicator. You need another group of friends. You need another group of people who can support you in who you are or help you become better. That's the very first thing. So guilty by association. What are you associated with? Who are you associated with? What do people think of when they hear your name? Come on, think about that. Not how you perceive yourself to be. Not what you think of yourself, but if you gathered 5 people, right? I remember I got a survey on Survey Monkey, I think. I created a survey and I sent it out to, probably like 15 or 20 people who I knew me very well, better than I knew myself as far as my blind spots. Because I have blind spots. We all have blind spots. And these are the things that we necessarily don't agree with, but 5 to 10 people can tell you the same exact thing. They might say it in different ways, but they're telling you the same thing. They're telling you the same thing. And I just began to read the responses, right? I left it at, I forgot what I asked, but it was pretty much an open-ended question to evaluate myself. It was for me. It wasn't so I could feel good, so I could feel bad, but I can look at the truth and see what it was. And it was anonymous. I didn't know who said what. I know who I sent it to, but I just remember reading it, and I was like, man, this is powerful. And there was a lot of good things. I don't remember reading anything bad. That could just be my perspective. But at the end of the day, people enjoy being around me. But I understand that I was not always here. At one point in my life, I was not able to have people, like people didn't look forward to me being around. People didn't look forward to, inviting me to places. People did not look forward to it. If anything, I was the last person on the list. But it was because of my character. It was because of what I brought. It was because of the atmosphere that came with me, right? And if you're anything like me, you can shift the atmosphere. You can shift an environment according to who you are and who you're gifted to be, who you're called to be, who you're purposed to be. You can shift the atmosphere. Now, whether you're in tune, whether you realize, right, what kind of person you are, who you are, it doesn't matter that it's being used for negative. It doesn't matter that you can control an environment. You can go into a space and everybody get happy, or you can go into a space and everybody get sad. But it's dependent on how you use it. And I began to learn because once I saw that, man, nobody really want to be around me. And part of my testimony is like when I was a liar, when I was a manipulator, nobody wanted to be around that. And I was very good at what I did. But after people started getting hurt from the manipulation, after people started, being abused and used, and they started feeling different types of emotions, and it just got real chaotic, real toxic, very quick, very fast, right? And that was a part of my testimony, and that was the first indicator that I saw, wait a minute, these people used to love me, and what I'm doing now, it's affecting them. I don't want that. I do not want that. So I began to work on myself. I began to get in other environments, and I would just sit back and be quiet like, wow, what made them tell the truth and tell on themselves? What made them expose themselves? Why would you indict yourself? Why would you incriminate yourself? You did wrong, but you told the truth. Why? I couldn't understand. But as I got older, I began to put away those childish philosophies, ideology. I began to put it away and say, you know what? It's time for me to become a man. It's time for me to own up to what I've done. It's time for me to take responsibility. And I'm talking to those of you who your character, it might not be in order. Your life, it might not be in order. Your goals, they might not be in order. The things that you need to be doing, they might not be a priority. But I'm telling you that you can get around a group of people and your life will change. But you have to choose wisely. They have to know, hey, this is why I want to be around you. You let your expectations become known, become clear. Say, hey, I'm not a great person, but I see that you are, and I'm striving to be more like you. I want what you have, and not in a covetous way, but I just want to become better. I want to become better because right now I'm not the best version of myself. Right now, the version of myself I really don't like. It needs to be upgraded. So I want to encourage you, everybody out there that's watching, you're listening, let's upgrade ourselves. Let's upgrade our circles. Let's upgrade our character. When we come around, we want people to rejoice and not weep. When we come around, we want people to celebrate and not tolerate. When we come around, we want people to look at our life and they're trying to get close to us because they're trying to change their circle. They're trying to change their mentality. That's what we want. That is the goal. That way we can have impact, influence, and then the income will come. All right? We'll have impact, influence, and the income will come. All right? So I just thank everybody for listening. Thank you for tuning into this episode. Your friends determine your outcome. You are the byproduct. You are the sum of your friends. Your network is your net worth. You can't walk with them unless y'all agree. If you're silently agreeing, even if you disagree, by saying nothing, you agree. So speak up for yourself, for your family, for your future generations to come from you. Let's change our friends. Let's change our lives. Let's change our tomorrows for a better future. All right. I'll see y'all next time here at KD Speaks. Again, I am your host, Keontre Daniels, and I'll see you next time.